Welcome to the Life After Sugar podcast, the podcast that's not just about sugar, but about your relationship with it and also with food and especially with yourself. So if you want to discover your life after sugar and hear inspiring stories from all kinds of people who also cut out sugar in their way, at their pace, for their own reasons, this is the podcast for you. Because when you take away the sugar, you can finally discover the real sweetness in your life. I'm your host, Netta Gorman, and in this episode, I'm talking with Denise, who's a physical therapist who has a very powerful message from her own life experience about how she used to use sugar to deal with her emotions and the pretty traumatic childhood that she had, and especially what she did to let go of the need for sugar in her healing process. We'll get to our chat in just a minute. But first, I just wanted to tell you that if you're looking for some free resources, then I have plenty for you. First, download my 5 tips to get rid of cravings. And those 5 tips may not be what you think they are. So go to aftersugarclub.com and download your 5 tips today. And while you're at aftersugarclub.com, why not take the cravings quiz? I created this cravings quiz specifically to help you start thinking more deeply about what triggers your cravings. And when you do this quiz, you'll get your personalized score as well as my practical tips to help you take your first step to get rid of cravings. Those free resources are at aftersugarclub.com. And also, come check out the Life After Sugar Facebook page and subscribe to the Life After Sugar YouTube channel, as well as my Instagram account at My Life After Sugar, which is where you'll get all kinds of inspiration so that you can see that it's perfectly possible to live a happy and active life, even if you don't eat sugar. You can also check out my TikTok account at Netta_lifeaftersugar. All right, so here's my chat with Denise. All right, so I'm here today with Denise, who is a physical therapist. So Denise, can you tell us a little bit about your background, where you grew up, and your relationship with food, especially with sugar?
So I am from New Jersey in the United States, and I've been a physical therapist for years, and I've turned integrative health practitioner coach. And the reason why I wound up as an integrative health practitioner and coach is because I was looking for answers to stop my addictions to sweets and to eating emotionally. And let's just say I needed help because no one would know how to stop my emotional eating and addictions to sugar because of the way I grew up.
Is it okay to tell us how you did grow up that caused you to eat emotionally?
Sure. And that's where I was, if you heard my hesitation when it kind of took me back to the reasons why. So I grew up in a very dysfunctional, traumatic, and abusive household. And the pain of the emotions in that environment, sugar was the best way for me to kind of combat that or meet it head on. And the thrill of downing, brownies or tasty cakes or Entenmann's, all the things that we grew up with, and filling myself up and bloating myself, those uncomfortable feelings were much more easy to deal with than a scary parent yelling at me or my sister or my mom and physical abuse. And that was my way to get control. And so, oh boy, did I have a lot of sugar in my life, because there was a lot of moments where I needed to numb out or to, sugar totally numbed me out.
Yeah, well, it's understandable. How old were you when all of this trauma was happening?
When I've done the work in my journey to becoming who I am today, I was about 10 months old when this was all happening. And I mean, unfortunately, it was happening with my mother before I came into the world. So I just remember being at parties and there was always cake, there was always a sweet at every meal. And that's just between my parents, food was love. Food was a way we could go stop the craziness. And so every meal I thought, how can I get something in me that's going to keep that high and or at least keep me, feeling somewhat weirder than the pain of I just was abused or I just was put down and yelled at and I watched my mom get hit. So I mean, it's heavy stuff. So yeah, as you can imagine, the products that I consumed were masking a lot of that pain.
Yeah, yes. So you had the sugar that kind of helped you numb out. And over time, did you find other ways that were maybe more healthy to deal with your emotions?
Yes. So thankfully, the beautiful path that I walked at that time in my life, I went to a whole different school district. My parents wanted to put me in a better school district. So I went and was surrounded by all of these amazing friends. And it was a Catholic school and I got involved with retreats and like lots of service. And so I knew I wanted to go on a fixing path in the medical field. And so I started volunteering in hospitals and nursing homes. And I was picking up like, oh, I could walk, I could exercise. And then I started like to get super healthy. So by the time I was 12, like actually before high school, I knew something was up. So at 12, I started seeing, okay, there's other ways of eating and feeling better about myself. And then I also went to a counselor in high school and she started pointing out to me, this is what's actually happening in your home. This is what you're doing yourself. What can we do instead? And then one thing led to another. I went to counseling in college. I went to school for physical therapy. I got into health and fitness. And I mean, my path just carried me totally different way. But those little sugar things and the moments when I would study or be stressed, it would be like, oh, can I have hot chocolate or can I go get a box of cereal and just eat those Captain Crunches until I numbed out. So there was still some development, but yes,
Yeah.
health and fitness came into my life.
Yeah. And because we can't always take the trauma or the suffering out when it's out of our control. And so we have to learn sooner, hopefully, rather than later, how to cope with not just the trauma, but our reaction to it. And that is not something that they teach you in school.
No, 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 no.
And they don't teach you in your family because very often that's where the trauma is in the family. And you can't teach what you don't know.
Right.
So, it takes a huge effort for you and for a lot of us to actually take that step to even recognize that, oh, wait a minute, I'm using sugar to numb because I have difficulty coping with the situation that's happening. And so, you did it really young.
I would say my intuition was super strong, even at a young age, and it was telling me, go do this, go get help. And I mean, I was alone a lot on my path. Like I ran away from home when I could to get away from that environment because it was so scary. So when I went far away for college, and then I got a scholarship to study in New Zealand, like I went way far away. Intuitively, I was seeking out helpers along the way, which I found naturopaths, functional medicine doctors, and that all led me to who I am and what I do today. But finally, when I became a trauma-informed coach, it all started going click, 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 because everyone was doing different pieces along the way, but they weren't actually addressing the trauma. And the response, like you said, is, still kicked in, even though like a major stressor like the pandemic came, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I had to watch and go, wait a minute, my entire lifestyle changed, and I could sense old habits like rearing their ugly heads. And so that's what led me to like become a trauma informed coach during the pandemic, because I'm like, wait a minute, here comes the sugar cravings. Why? So yeah,
Yeah.
anyway.
I mean, it
But
takes a lot to be able to step back from how you're feeling to analyze how you're feeling.
yes. And it's that pause that if we just take that pause,
Yeah, yeah. And it feels almost impossible when you're in it. You know, it takes a lot of practice and a lot of help. And you managed it. And are you helping others in your physical therapy profession?
when I can, I do. And it's usually engaging with the parents because I work in pediatrics. And so when I have an opportunity to chat with the parents and the teachers to educate, yes, it's a beautiful thing because they step back and go, oh, I really shouldn't like give my kid a Lunchable or fast food before they go to school because they're not going to be able to focus and they're not going to feel really good. So
Yeah.
I do what I can. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're not a nutritionist. Do they listen to you?
I have the beautiful ability of gaining rapport easily because of my NLP training. And I'm so like empathic and introverted in a like I just get in there. So I mean, but I feel out the situation before I know if I should even approach and offer and ask the questions about would you be interested in hearing this or that. So it's never like I'm giving you advice. I stay in my lane when I need to stay in my lane.
Gotcha. Yeah. I want to take a quick break to say that if this is your first time here, then welcome and thank you for listening to this podcast. And whether you're new or a regular and you haven't yet rated or reviewed this podcast, could I ask you to scroll down and tap on the stars to rate this podcast and also to write a short review to let me know how this podcast is helping you in your life after sugar. I love reading your reviews. And when you rate and review this podcast, not only does it encourage me to continue making new episodes, but it also helps to share this podcast and have more people see it so that we can help more people feel better and lose weight with less sugar. So again, thank you for rating and reviewing this podcast and for spreading the word about sugar. Yeah, and what have you noticed in your professional capacity with nutrition and like kids' behavior?
Oh my goodness. Could
Mhm.
go on and on forever, but I will make it as short and sweet as possible. So comparing to say when I was a kid, even though I had all that going on, I still had a homemade meal as best as I could. And nowadays, children, most of the food they eat comes in a package and it's not nutritious and it's quick and it's easy and I don't know what it's made of, which is really frightening. And so the kids are not actually getting nutrients to like fuel their brains. And most of the food that I see them eating is actually aggravating their gut biome, which is then contributing to immune issues and focus issues. We see more ADHD, autism nowadays, and I mean we're all connected, between our gut and our brain and our bodies and how we function and how we stay focused and regulated. So and fast food commercials and
Yeah,
everything is everywhere. So people want to take the quick fix or they're not spending the time on making a proper meal. So we're
yeah,
seeing it. And we know through our lab testing that we can help clear out a lot of these things from their bellies, from their guts, so that if they change their diet and their approach to food, a lot of those issues go away. But I'm one person at a time.
yeah.
So
Well, I'm number
yeah,
two. Her two. We're two. There's two of us, and I know there's.
yeah, there you go. Yes.
But it's such a difficult thing to do. It's such a huge change when that's all you've ever known.
Yes. Yes. And of course, the first thing, if I don't have rapport or if I'm speaking in the wrong kind of to the wrong audience, I will get pushback because, like you said, that's all they know. And we just have to usually wait and see. And sometimes they'll come back around and go, oh, wait a minute. Now I realize that these symptoms or my my son's like gut is so bloated, and I notice that they're craving all these sweets and they're on a roller coaster every day because they're just reaching for another, bar or a red drink or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
huge.
It's huge, isn't it? It's like climbing a huge mountain, not just for us, who we've sort of seen the light, as it were, but for the people who have to make these changes. It's like it feels like life is a struggle already. Are you telling me that I have to make even more effort,
Well, I usually help my clients and people that I speak to about this get out of that state of being overwhelmed and start to break it down to what's really important and actionable. And I so break down everything to like where I can get in and get the buy-in, and then make one little change and then see how that goes. Because a lot of these people or whoever I'm working with, they didn't get there overnight. So working unconsciously and consciously with them, I can help them see change as a positive, as an easy path, and that they do have so much power to create a new path neurologically, neurolinguistically, and then in their bodies. So that's my goal, is that I don't want to make it hard. I don't want to make it a struggle for anybody, because yeah, we're all day long, something's coming at us that it's overwhelming. So yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And what changes do you see when people do make the dietary changes that you
Oh,
suggest to them?
well, I usually hear, well, wow, that was so easy to lose weight. Why was I struggling so much? Like, those were simple changes, and it's not as scary as I thought, and it's not as overwhelming. And a lot of times I get laughter, I get tears, because they realize how long that they've been following an old mental program, unconscious program of like, I need to eat a sweet every night after dinner, or I need to clean my plate even though I'm not hungry anymore. Like, so a lot of those old rules and TV commercials and jingles that basically spill out of people. I'm like, you are actually in control of what you're putting in your mouth and buying in your life. And many times they get added benefits, like, their clothing fits better, their skin's better, their mind is more focused, they sleep better. They have more money because then they're realizing they don't need that much food in order to be nourished,
Yeah.
and their stress levels decrease. Like, the ripple effect is so amazing that I'm beaming talking about it, they're beaming, and that's, yay.
That is, yeah, that's amazing. So gratifying for you, to feel like you're making a difference in their lives.
Heck yeah, because there's nothing greater for me to see them just spark that joy and going, I got it. I feel heard. I feel seen. I feel helped by someone that actually gets me. And that's why I love individual coaching, because I could be that person for them that maybe they didn't have when they were 2, 10, 12, 22. And they're like, wait a minute, no one's actually witnessed this trauma or heard me explain this, or like taught me how to have an emotion and feel it and then let it pass without putting food in my face or whatever it may be. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. They're so lucky that they have you.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you.
And so, gosh, and so moving forward in your own life, and you were mentioning that you have a son as well who's college level, right? So how how have you been able to put this information or this experience to use as a mother?
Fantastic. It's been super fun, because now when I started this journey, he was 4. And I knew going in having a child, I was like, okay, he's going to grow up in a totally different way. And now that he's almost 24, he's showing the benefits of the training, so to speak. But he listens to his gut. He stops eating when he's full. He eats when he's hungry. He has a little bit of dessert and leaves it. So he's very much more in tune with his body. Like, I eat this, I stop, and I have nutritious meals, and he has the best immune system. Never gets sick. Like, he is super strong, he's super healthy, and so like regulated. It's wonderful. So
Wow.
I'm happy to see all that, because yeah, it's possible. It's
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah. Did it require of you a huge effort as a mother?
No, because it kind of just seeped out of me, so to speak. All the learnings that I gained along the way and my, years of doing my work and the instant like changes I can implement as he was growing up. It was like on the job training, so to speak. So everything that I learned, I just put into place. And I literally had people along the way say, "Boy, your son eats a lot of vegetables." I'm like, "Well, of course." Like duh. And so it was just that it was so easy and yeah, it
Yeah.
was effortless and fun. And now, like I said, now that he's 24, I'm like, yay me.
Yeah, you certainly, yeah. And yay him as well, because if he becomes a parent one day, he'll be able to pass that along and we have this virtuous cycle going on.
And hearing him use phrases that I've used with him, like from all my trainings, it's brilliant. I'm just like, this is so fun.
Like what? Like what, for example?
Oh, he'll talk about the universe and intuition and rewiring your mind and, neuroplasticity and, just like knowing how to eat solid meals and when to get exercise and sleep and, building muscle. And
Whoa.
his lifestyle is one that I was striving for when I was a kid, but I had to go find out how to do it. And now he's had it for him. So
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
lucky guy, to have you as a mother. Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah. And you're helping so many people. If anyone wants to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
Well, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. Denise Lynn Morrison is my handle, I guess. That's what yeah, I'm so old school. And then my website is deniselynmorrison.com and you can go read about me. You can request an appointment with me, which is basically like a free chat for half an hour to find out what's going on and help you make sense out of your situation if you can't see it. And I have resources on my website for an emotional eating assessment, another mindset and body work if someone wants to take a little course. So yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you, Denise. It's so
Oh, you're
lovely to
welcome.
talk to you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, that was such a powerful conversation with Denise because we can all relate, I think, to situations or contexts that have caused us pain and suffering in our life. And certainly, I used to reach out for sugar to deal with my emotions or to numb them or to avoid them. And so, this powerful message that Denise has for us to develop the skill to actually deal with our emotions so that we don't need sugar anymore. Well, that's exactly what I teach in the Freedom from Cravings Formula program. In the program, you'll get step-by-step guidance and customized support through the 5-step formula that I've developed to help you get control over cravings so that you can finally live your life with more energy and fit into your favorite clothes effortlessly and feel confident in your food choices so that you can ditch the shame and embarrassment that you feel every time your emotions make you slip or fall off the wagon, and so that you never feel like you're on some kind of a restrictive diet. If you're at the stage of your life where you're finally ready to look after yourself, let's chat. You can hop on a free clarity call with me at any time by going to aftersugarclub.com and clicking on Program at the top. You'll also find the link with the show notes together with this episode. So go to aftersugarclub.com. Speak soon. That's it for this week. Keep in touch and see you soon for another episode.